Sherdog.com here in Torrance, California with UFC 1 veteran Art Jimmerson. Fight night, you're, well, getting gloved up. What made you decide to go with one glove, which would become your signature for 20 years?
Well, a couple of things. Again, like I said, I really felt bad because when you get your hands wrapped as a boxer, they make sure you wrap your knuckles up, basically cushion it up enough where basically, you won't hurt your hand. So they kind of like triple up, they make sure it's wrapped, they were like, don't wrap it at all. They just want to make sure the knuckles are showing. Their law was don't even wrap it. Really, they weren't hand wraps. But again, with a boxer, you know better because again, you can break your hand. The other thing was I didn't want to hurt my hand because I had a big fight coming up with Tommy Hearns later on through the year. I was prepared for him, so I definitely didn't want to ruin my career. I wanted to hurt my hand, on somebody for some tournament I thought was just basically, quote unquote, be around for a couple of years.
When Royce took you down, really your first experience seriously grappling, what was that like? What did you think with this guy that was much smaller than you, seemingly weaker than you, controlling you that way?
Well, what happened is that, when the bell first rung, again, I already had in my mind I was going to fight him. I was going to just basically pressure him and get him back, just try to see where he's coming from with different, side movements. And I remember him being southpaw, he kicking at me. And it's like, I'm used to people throwing fists at me where I can actually move. You see a foot in front of your face. So it's like, all right, ding, 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 ding. Well, I never saw it before. How do I compute? So I said, okay, let me try something different. So I started trying to move laterally around him. That's when he did a fake up and then came up and got me and flipped me over. And once my back hit the ground, it was like an insect on his back, man. Just kind of with my hand. So I grabbed him and I guess I kind of like got a phobia because I've never been in this position before. I never, as a fighter, you need to breathe. You need to be out and punch, So once he got me on my back, and then he did some type of leg lock where he locked my legs in, where basically I thought, I'm at least 200 pounds. He's like, what, $175. There's no way in the world I shouldn't be able to just toss him over. But the way he had me locked in, I thought, wow, what an amazing, art to learn.
What was it like for you, not physically, not with respect to the fight, but the psychological and sort of emotional toll? Because you have this fight with Tommy Hearns lined up. You thought this would be obviously a lot easier than it ended up being, and you even mentioned right before you went out there to fight Royce Gracie, after the first two contests with Taylor Tooley and Gerard Gordeau and Kevin Rozier and Zane Frazier, your managers are in tears begging you not to go out and fight.
It was kind of funny.
So when you're down there and he mounts you, I mean, are you thinking about like, wow, I just made a huge mistake?
Yeah, of course. It's so crazy because, I was the third fighter of the night, and I got a chance to see both of the first two fights from the balcony. And looking down, I was like, these guys, were really hammering each other, they were like killing each other. I'm thinking, all right, it's like a street fight. They're just going at it. I go back to the dressing room, and in walks Kevin Rozier with a broken jaw. I can actually hear his bones go side to side, and he's trying to put his jaw back in place. And then here comes Taylor Tooley with teeth missing from front of his mouth, blood running out of his mouth. And I walked back to the dressing room, and one of my managers literally started crying, with tears in his eyes, saying, all right, don't do it. He's saying, we're lawyers, and basically, you pull out what we got your back, And at that time, I'm thinking, I'm trying to stack myself up, I'm a fighter, I'm a real fighter, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I've been through this hundreds of times. I'm the best, So I'm gonna go out here and just do my job. But at that time, all the confidence I had just like start seeping out, But I was able to, keep my composure, and it was just funny how I can just still see his tears come out of his face, saying don't do it. I had to really take a hold of myself and say, don't look at him, keep it under control, because I had already signed a contract. Plus, this is something I want to do because again, I'm a fighter. I was up for the challenge, and like I said, there's nowhere in the world I thought to this day that Royce would beat me. Nowhere in the world, And hats off to Royce. I think he's a legend in his right perspective. But I just think that I was kind of blindfolded and going out there. I didn't know.
How different do you think it would have been if you got a different matchup? Like, say, if you'd faced Gerard Gordeau, who's basically a Kyokushin karate fighter, or Pat Smith, who's a kickboxer.
Yeah, I think it would have been totally different because, in fact, those guys were fighters, meaning that they. Again, let's take it from Royce. Royce, I think he's great. I think he did what he had to do to win. He used his arts to the best of his knowledge to defeat me, you know what I'm saying? But with those guys, I think that, again, nothing away from them either. Just the fact that it would have given me more of a chance to unload my punches because I'm a fighter. I got to breathe, so I have to have space to punch and move. You know, with Royce, he smothered me. He came in at me. He took me down. You know, with those guys, I think I did a lot better because I don't think their ground game is as good as Royce's.
After you lost, I mean, did you just leave McNichols Arena? Did you hang out and watch the rest of the event? What was the rest of your night like after you tapped out?
Again, I was kind of upset because you know, I kind of like had tears in my eyes because I hadn't lost in 15 fights, hadn't lost in 5 years. And once you learn how to win, man, it becomes an addiction. I mean, it's like winning is like a part of your life. So I actually cried, man. I actually, you know, felt bad because I'm thinking, you know, I got sucker punched, you know what I'm saying? And even though they told me it wouldn't be on my boxing record, it was still, you know, I didn't even know how big this thing was. I didn't know it would like be worldwide because it got gotten to the point where it got out there. So I was kind of embarrassed. And it really hit me when a couple months later, I was invited over to Japan to be a sparring partner for one of the top fighters over there. The UFC, one of the UFC magazines came out, or a karate book, and they had all of our pictures in there. And I remember opening it up, and I saw a picture of me, you know, again with my suit on, and we had a masquerade party. Right after the fight, they had a big masquerade party where all the fighters came, and you know, everybody had black eyes and teeth missing, and I was one of the guys who came intact. And the story read, Art Jimmerson, you know, one glove, he's one of the only fighters to come out with no marks on his face, undamaged. And I thought to myself, wow, man, it hit me like, you know, did I even fight, you know? So it's to the point where, even to this day, man, I get a lot of emails and different stories from people on Facebook or emails saying, you know, that they don't think I did the best I could do. You know, they thought that I should have, you know, won the fight or done better. But again, like I said, I didn't know. I just didn't know, you know? So it hurt me in that perspective because I wasn't given a fresh shake. I wasn't.